Hello, and welcome to the Cass Health Podcast, the show where we hope to connect our community with healthcare information that's relatable, understandable, and useful to your life, and where you get to know better the neighbors providing your care here. I'm your host, Carter Anderson, and in today's episode, we'll be getting to know one of Cass Health's new family medicine providers, Dr. Jeals Brines. Before we get started, two quick disclaimers. First, the comments in this podcast do not necessarily reflect the views of Cass Health. Second, the information in this podcast is not intended to be construed as personal medical advice. Always consult your primary care provider with your questions and concerns regarding your health. Welcome. Thanks so much for taking some time to chat with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to get started.
Yeah. So we'll just start with, where are you from?
I am from Leon, Iowa, South Central. I went to Central Decatur High School and grew up there, born and raised, and still have family back there.
Awesome. How far of a drive is it from Leon to Atlantic?
It's only a couple of hours. My brother lived in Corning, actually, for several years, and so I feel like we're not that far from Corning, so it's really not a bad drive. My parents are used to it.
Good deal. Awesome. So where did you complete your training at to become a family medicine physician?
Yeah, I went to Northwest Missouri State for undergraduate and had a bachelor's in chemistry there. And then I went down to Arkansas at the Arkansas College of Osteopathic Medicine for medical school. And then after med school, I came back to Des Moines and completed my residency training at Iowa Lutheran with Unity Point.
Very cool. Very cool. So kind of a couple different places there.
Yeah.
What's it like in Arkansas?
It's honestly so beautiful. I was in Fort Smith, which is like northwest Arkansas, just south of Fayetteville. Such a beautiful area. When they say the natural state, they really mean it, I think. And I met such wonderful people down there, and they, it's southern, but it still feels very Midwestern because everybody is so welcoming and so kind, which made me feel right at home. And I tell my husband now we just have wonderful excuses to go visit friends. So
right, there you go. Nice travel down there where the scenes are nice and the people are even nicer.
Absolutely.
So, very cool. So what type of patients will you care for here at Cass Health?
Honestly, any and all, from birth to grave is kind of what we used to joke about in med school and everything. But truly, I love the continuity of being able to know somebody from when they were young and following them through all of life's phases. And so I especially have like an interest in women's health and just being like a good sounding board and a good like resource for my patients in that regard. And then really, really anything. I am not doing deliveries, so I'm not doing OB, but I'll follow people postpartum and check in with their family, and just knowing that I get to be along with patients for their entire health journey. And then also other journeys is really, really important to me.
Very cool. A partner throughout that whole
Absolutely.
Life journey. Very cool. What do you enjoy doing outside of work when you're not here helping patients?
Yes, I joke a little bit that I'm kind of like a grandma. I love to be home. I love to read. I think I'm at like 40 books so far for the year. I'm hoping to hit 50 before the new year. That was my goal. I love to cook. I love to bake, although it's been pretty hot this summer, so I haven't really turned my oven on very much.
Heating the house up with the oven on, right?
And then one thing I think my husband and I are both excited about now that we are homeowners is to really kind of get into some gardening, doing a lot of like planting and stuff this coming spring. So I'm excited for that.
There you go. Show off your green thumb and stuff like
absolutely.
That outside. Very cool. What type of books do you like to read? What's your favorite type of like genre, I guess?
I love a good like fantasy novel. And so kind of jumping into like other worlds, I feel like it all started with like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter when I was young. And so being able to kind of escape into something fun and something different that somebody's created, I think is just a really good form to kind of decompress and get out of the real world, which is not a bad thing sometimes.
Right. A little escape to somewhere different.
Yes.
Very cool. Why did you choose family medicine?
I chose family medicine kind of back to the root question of like, what kind of patients do you want to see? I love the variety in my day. I love being able to go from seeing, a baby to then checking in on mom and how she's doing. And then next thing you know, you're seeing grandma and you're having different conversations throughout your day. I think that variety and knowing that you can be that person who kind of connects everybody through every walk of life is really what inspired me. So I knew pretty early on in medical school that I wanted to get back to a small town. I wanted to treat my neighbors and really like build a community and build a life for myself in that regard. And so right away, I kind of knew that family medicine was the exact right place for me.
Awesome. Speaking of those patients, if you could share a message with your future patients, what would that message be?
My message for my patients is that I always want to be a safe place for them to come and share whatever it is that has been on their mind, the good, the bad, the in-between, and that together we can work forward to finding the next best steps forward.
We'll get into some other get-to-know-you questions here. Favorite sports team?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say college-wise, Iowa State, which I know there's a lot of Hawkeyes fans in this area, but I am a Cyclone. And then I would be remiss if I didn't say the Kansas City Chiefs, but mostly because I'm also a huge Taylor Swift fan.
Okay, there we go. By
the
default,
truth is coming out, yes.
Okay. Got to root for Taylor's boyfriend, right?
Yes, and then of course an Indiana Fever fan as well, because we love Caitlin Clark, even though she's not from Iowa State.
That's okay. Everybody watches women's sports.
Absolutely.
So we're good to go there. Awesome. Any pets at home?
I do. I have a cat. Her name is Mabel. She just turned 12 this year, which was actually her golden birthday on May 12th. And she is pretty ginormous. She's about 15 pounds. And so there's a lot of her to love, and she's got a really strong personality. So
is Mabel like an orange tabby cat, or what is she?
She's not. She is just like a domestic short hair. She is white with kind of some darker gray spots, but she has beautiful green eyes, and she has a very strong voice. I don't know if that's how my husband would describe her, but...
Oh, that's funny. If you're cooking dinner to impress, what are we making?
Oh, I'm probably making my husband grill, and so that I have dinner duties off so I can enjoy company. But then I am probably baking some sort of dessert, maybe like a pie. I've been really into like pumpkin and apple pies right now, mostly because I'm trying to coax the weather into turning into fall.
Right. Come on, fall weather.
Yes.
We're just going to bake it out with the pies and
Absolutely.
stuff. Love
I'm manifesting it.
Yes. We will never catch you doing what?
This will probably sound so silly, but you will never catch me backing my car into a parking space. Every couple of years, my husband gets a hankering to try to teach me. He's like, it's time. This is ridiculous. And it just never goes well. But oddly, I'm pretty decent at parallel parking.
That's what I was just going to ask. I was like, can you parallel park?
I can parallel park, but reversing for any long period of time, it's just not in the cards.
Not the world's best backwards driver.
No.
That's okay.
No.
That's okay. Good thing you're driving forward most of the time. So.
Yeah, nobody judge me for my parking, please.
Right. Okay, that's what I was going to say. Don't worry about the way she's parked. It's all good. Favorite holiday?
Probably Thanksgiving. I love the food. It's so good.
Like you just said, all the fall flavors and stuff like that. Those are the peak time at Thanksgiving. So there you go. What's better, the book or the movie? I have a feeling you have an opinion on this. So
I do. The book. Always the book. All the details, all the feelings, everything that you get outside of the dialogue. I love the book.
Right, because you get to kind of be almost the director in a sense in the book instead of like
Absolutely.
having to be like, that's not what it's supposed to look
no,
like.
No, yes, because
right?
I envision it such a certain way when I read it. So.
Right, absolutely. Driving alone in the car, what are you jamming out to?
Taylor Swift.
Okay.
Or a podcast. I love a podcast.
True crime? What?
Actually, no. That scares me a little bit. I have to listen to something a little bit happier, a little bit more upbeat. I usually listen to The Daily in the morning from the New York Times to catch up on news and everything. And I just said a little upbeat, although that's not always the most upbeat thing in the world.
Some of those and it's like wah wah.
Yes.
Sometimes, but.
But then I have a couple gardening podcasts that I listen to, and then just a couple comedy ones too. So.
Right. That's what I kind of like to listen to those two. Kind of keep it light and a little bit of an escape too.
Yes.
Next or dream travel destination?
I think I would love to go to Greece. I have no idea what type of year is best to go to Greece or like what the season would be. And I don't have anything planned yet, but maybe in the next few years we can get something on the books.
There you go. That sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Have you been on any trips recently that you really enjoyed or?
We just went to Colorado in August for a friend's wedding up in Estes Park, and it was gorgeous. And we took a couple hikes and really just enjoyed the scenery, enjoyed the weather, and obviously enjoyed the people too. So, but yes, it was wonderful.
Awesome. Good people, good scenes. Sounds like a good time.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for taking some time to chat with us today and letting the people get to know you a little bit. So we're excited to have you here at Cass Health.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.